Flashback.
There has been thought, I believe, given to this. Senator Ron Wyden has already issued statements, for example, advising what we should do in a situation like this, which I concur, which is that I believe that the Biden administration should ignore this ruling. I think that the courts have the legitimacy and they rely on the legitimacy of their rulings. And what they are currently doing is engaged in an unprecedented and dramatic erosion of the legitimacy of the courts. It is the justices themselves, through the deeply partisan and unfounded nature of these rulings, that are undermining their own enforcement.
What's going on, guys? We got to talk about the hood Raptor, ghetto behind Jasmine Crockett, getting cooked to her face for clutching her pearls about judges being impeached. Now, I don't think any judge actually has been impeached at this point, but at least they're talking about it and they're considering filing articles of impeachment against these judges who keep filing these fraudulently partisan injunctions against Donald Trump's agenda that he was duly elected to execute. Now, she's over here freaking out about this, but the hypocrisy is clear as day because AOC filed articles of impeachment herself. She actually did file them. It wasn't just no conversation. She actually filed the articles of impeachment attempting to impeach 2 Supreme Court justices.
Crockett.
Thank you so much. And I appreciate the speaker for admitting openly on the record that it is unconstitutional. But the concerns that I have are around the fact that we are sitting here pretending as if we all are looking out for the Constitution, yet we are coming from completely different angles, because we have people that are currently serving and they're saying things like, ignore the judge's order.
I believe that the Biden administration should ignore this ruling.
What it means to have law and order in this country is that you follow the order and you go through the appeals process, even if you dislike what the judge did. Thank you, and I yield.
And I'll yield back to Mr. Issa.
Yep.
Mr. Issa, you had a question for me, which I'll yield to you now if you want to.
Now that there's no time left. Thanks, Eric.
Entertainment.
You're good. You're good at that, but I'll take my own time. I'll recognize myself. And I'm going to note that when Ms. Ocasio-Cortez, or AOC as we know her, filed articles of impeachment on Justice Thomas and Alito, Ms. Crockett was one of the co-sponsors along with Mr. Cohen.
The abuses of power committed by Justice Thomas and Justice Alito are precisely the types of corruption that the framers understood was an existential threat to our democracy. Instances like these and misconduct like that of Alito's and Thomas's are precisely why the framers gave us the tool of impeachment. Mr. Speaker, I am here today presenting these articles of impeachment not because I am a Democrat and not because I am blind to its odds in a Republican-led chamber. I present them because it is the right thing to do.
Both members of this committee. It does seem interesting that when the shoe is on the other foot, everyone is self-righteous. And I think this is a good example. For the last three hours, I have had to listen to one side talking about impeachment as though it was the nature of this hearing. It is not.
If it isn't the pot calling the kettle black, because Democrats are known for blatant hypocrisy where they literally are going way off a cliff with some radical agenda that they are trying to execute, in calling judges rogue and corrupt and saying our judicial system needs to be totally revamped and we need more Supreme Court justices, way more, to balance things out. They just really want Democrat operative Supreme Court justices. But that hypocrisy aside, of course, you know that's not all. We always have more Democrat hypocrisy to talk about because Scott Jennings over here completely went off on this woke behind panel. This panel was so stupid. You have to be an idiot. Signalgate is not a hill you want to die on, okay? Let me repeat this. Signalgate is not a hill you want to die on after the disastrous Afghanistan withdrawal where we lost 12 American service members. They were blown up to bits. You lost hundreds of Afghanis. You lost other Americans, some of which who are still over there. You lost billions of dollars in equipment. And then Joe Biden comes over and say, hey, it was a successful operation. Like, you gotta be freaking joking.
This isn't, cowboys and Indians and calling for scalps. This is actually what most people would think was, if someone has behaved in a way that puts American lives at risk, they should be held accountable for it.
Scott, what's your response?
Laura, since she addressed me, I'll answer it.
Please.
In a Democratic, you don't have to make up hypotheticals, Lulu, about if this happened in a Democratic administration. Let me take you back in time. In a Democratic administration, the Secretary of Defense oversaw a disastrous military operation in which 13 servicemen died in Afghanistan. Then, to try to make up for it, they vaporized like 7 children in a drone strike. Then later, the Secretary of Defense went AWOL and didn't even tell the commander-in-chief.
This is a completely
you don't
different
have to
thing
come
that
up
you're,
with a hypothetical,
these are two
Lulu,
different things that you're discussing.
The bar
and
apparently is very high for dismissing a Secretary of Defense.
I don't want your words
Scott,
to fall
we
on
can
ears
do
that
this as
cannot
much
hear
as you
you.
like.
Lulu, what's your reaction?
My reaction is, it's not the same thing. I can take you back in time and talk about the Iraq
You're
War.
right, because people
There are
died.
different things
People
that
died in the
make.
last
There
case
are
and not in
people
this
make
case.
mistakes. This was using an unsecure method of discussion by the top members of this administration to discuss top secret, a top secret and
Who
very
in
important
which case did people die?
military
In which
I would
case
like
did
to
people
hear
die?
her finish her point, Scott.
This lady, oh, it's different. That's different. Shut up, lady. It doesn't make any sense. Signalgate, every single time they want to bring up Signalgate, bring up Afghanistan. Anytime they want to say, well, we don't want to hear about Hillary's emails no more, bring up Afghanistan, Benghazi. The Democrats literally get people killed. And they do it all the time. And when they do not care. They have not mentioned Laken Riley once. You know what they said? Lincoln Riley. There's still people who going out saying Lincoln Riley. That's so disrespectful. You should never say no damn Lincoln, at least without correcting it. Correct yourself. Check yourself before you wreck yourself, because her name is Laken Riley. The Democrats don't care about her. They don't care about Jocelyn Nungary. They don't care about any of the servicemen and women who died in the Afghanistan withdrawal, the people who are not servicemen and women who died, but they will sit up here on their high horse about impeaching judges, something that's not even happened yet, and about Signalgate. I'm going to go ahead and react to Scott Jennings destroying this panel to their face again about Signalgate, because they keep bringing it up.
I know Democrats are trying, but so far there doesn't seem to be a dog that's hunting on the pushback in a real aggressive way, except for the notion of the Inspector General at the Pentagon, where you used to work, looking into it, which James Lankford endorsed on the show earlier.
Yeah, so here's the fundamental issue with what you just heard from the Trump administration. They're losing the trust of the troops, who should be the main focus in all of this. The business of the Department of Defense is very dangerous. Every single day they're dealing with life and death issues. It's risky and it's dangerous.
Chris Meager, former White House deputy press secretary, guess for which administration? Certainly not a Republican one.
And so you need our leadership, our most senior leadership at the Pentagon, our most senior leadership in the United States government, to take steps to mitigate that risk, to take steps to keep our troops safe. Pete Hegseth, he did the opposite. He put classified, sensitive material about an operation.
According to who is it classified again? I thought the President of the United States made that determination. Let's keep going.
Hours before that operation took place, into an unclassified setting, which is one of the biggest no-nos at the Department of Defense. If somebody like me did that, I'd be out on the sidewalk. And so,
what does that even mean? Did anybody even get fired for the Afghanistan withdrawal? I don't remember anyone. Didn't Donald Trump consistently call them out for not firing anyone after people died? What do you mean you'd be out on this? What are you talking about? I don't even remember anybody getting fired, period, from the Biden administration. In terms of the actual Biden administration, they don't fire no damn body. They just say, hey, get as many people killed as you want. We'll protect you.
I think you need to really take a look at the actions that they took and the result of it.
Scott?
Well, I think it's possible for two things to be true. One, it's possible to say this was a mistake, and it's a teachable moment, and I have no doubt they won't do it again. And it's also possible to look at, if you're trying to assess what should we do about it. I hear Democrats arguing, well, we should fire Pete Hegseth, we should fire the National Security Advisor. The bar for firing people like this is really high from the last administration. When after the Afghanistan withdrawal, which was a disaster, people died, no accountability was meted out.
None.
After the drone strike that vaporized those poor kids and that family, no accountability. After the Secretary of Defense went AWOL, no accountability. So if you're arguing today that we should get rid of Pete Hegseth over a small mistake regarding communications, even while he was expertly executing this military operation against the Houthi rebels, which also the Biden administration didn't take up, I don't have a lot of time for that argument today, and neither does most Republicans.
The problem here is that Pete Hegseth has taken no accountability. He's bashed the reporter. He's called it a hoax. He's done.
What do you mean? Joe Biden called the Afghanistan withdrawal a massive success and refused to take the calls from the families of the fallen servicemen and women. What are you talking about? Like, if you want to whataboutism this, the Democrats have no leg to stand on here. This is one of the stupidest guys. This just goes to show you how desperate they are that they even are attempting this. Honestly.
Everything but say, hey, I made a mistake by putting this information in the Signal chat. You mentioned Secretary Austin. He stood at the podium.
And Pete Hegseth didn't put anything in the Signal chat. Mike Walls did. What the hell does Pete Hegseth have to do? What does he need to acknowledge? He didn't do anything. Mike Walls already acknowledged.
Podium for an hour and took accountability. He asked for a 30-day review of the hospitalization. He asked for an inspector.
Did a single Democrat ask for his resignation?
Scott, if I may.
Did a single Democrat,
Scott.
not one?
It's always nonstop propaganda with these people, guys. The Democrats do it. It's okay. Hey, we can impeach Supreme Court justices. It's okay because they're corrupt. Our judicial system is a joke. We need to impeach the Supreme Court justices, including a black man. But hey, when judges think that they can supersede the president of the United States, oh, well, no. We need to allow them to impede upon the executive branch of the United States. And don't allow Trump to deport illegal alien terrorists and criminals. Don't allow it. Stop it at all costs. Just get in Trump's way. And don't use the law against the judges who are using the law against Trump. We can use the law against Trump all we want. We could try to get him arrested and imprisoned and impeach and whatever the hell we're trying to do. We try to impeach him. We could try to impeach the Supreme Court justice. We could try anything. Remove from the ballot. Whatever. But no. Don't sue us for defamation, even though we sue you for defamation. Don't impeach our judges, even though we impeach your judges. These people are so damn stupid. I'm so tired of the Democrats, man. They are so easily motivating me to continue doing these videos every day because of how evil and stupid and hypocritical they are. It is astounding, and it just really makes me want to laugh in their face. It makes it almost impossible to respect, to even have a modicum of respect for a lot of these people that you see just spewing the just blatant propaganda. If somebody says, yeah, I could see this being hypocritical, but let me explain what the difference is, and they have some valid points, okay. That's not what we're seeing here. We just basically see Democrats try to just pretend as though there's nothing hypocritical about this. They can't respond to anything reasonably, logically, honestly, because they're just propaganda shills. And they just care about having their way, and they think that the American people are too dumb to remember what they did just a few months ago with their own impeachments and what happened with Afghanistan, where some of these people are never going to forget for the rest of their lives because their literal child, most of these people who died were, I believe all of them were in their 20s from the servicemen and women. They're never going to forget about their loved one. But these people don't care about that at all. Is sad and pathetic. Let me know what you guys think. Drop a like on the video. Subscribe to the channel if you're new. I appreciate you watching the Black Anomaly Rising channel. I'm out.
They have their lowest approval ratings ever, and they are rallying around two of the most far-left leaders in their party, AOC and Jasmine Crockett. So that tells you the current state of the Democrat Party.